Welcome to the Experience Podcast. My name is Dennis, and joining me today on this podcast, we have.
My name is Neil. I am a multi-dimensional being having a human experience. Today, we have a fascinating topic to talk about, and it's one that is fairly current and one that is happening right now. And the topic is, and what we're going to be talking about is what Mark Zuckerberg has recently done with Facebook. And what he's done is he's changed the name to Meta. And I believe it's just Meta, but he's looking to create this thing called the Metaverse. And so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And it's a fascinating topic. So we'll get right into it, beginning with the definition of metaverse. And we'll just begin right there with the definition. So the definition of metaverse is a virtual reality space in which users can interact with a computer-generated environment and also other users. That's the definition from Oxford Language of Metaverse.
Well, can you repeat that again?
So, Metaverse, as a definition, is a virtual reality space in which users can interact with a computer-generated environment and other users. So, meta, that's the whole word, the definition I just gave. Meta is like a prefix for verse, and meta from the original Greek meaning means after or beyond, or it can be a prefix before a word meaning more comprehensive or transcending. That's from the original Greek meaning where meta came from. Greek meta is equivalent to the Latin words post or add.
So it'd be like adding a different reality to the current reality.
But it's also like post or add, like a prefix added to a word is what it's.
Okay.
It's not so much a word by itself, but it's used in conjunction with other words.
Sure.
It can also mean, this is still with meta, going into the etymology, it can mean, it comes from a preposition and a prefix, which is what we were just talking about, before a word, which it can also mean after, beside, with, among. So it's a lot of like after or transcending or that type of meaning. From Old English, meta, so meta is Greek, but a similar word in the Old English preposition is mid, and mid, the definition for mid is with, and this is still used today as a prefix in midwife. Mid is the English version of meta, which is Greek. And mid is used currently today in the word midwife.
So it would be like the in-between world. That's what Facebook.
That's your perception of it. But
that's Zuckerberg's vision, is the in-between world that he now controls.
That's your perception of his world that he's creating. So that kind of gives you this view and perception of meta and also metaverse, of what the word actually means. And so now I'd like to get into what actually, when this took place. And when this took place was on the week of November 4th. Facebook changed its name to Metaverse. And this is reflecting a concept that Zuckerberg started talking about last summer. And the concept is that he sees virtual reality reshaping the internet into Metaverse, with Meta leading the way. In July, he called it the ultimate expression of social technology and a virtual environment where you can be present with people in a digital space. So what he's talking about is a digital environment and not a natural environment. So you're going to be present with people in a virtual digital environment rather than being in a natural environment and being present with people. You're now being present with people in a virtual environment. So that is his vision. It's an embodied internet that you are inside of.
I think before this podcast, I was looking up the difference between virtual reality and augmented reality. And augmented, I'm just going to read what I found off of Google. So augmented reality is an enhanced version of the real physical world that is achieved through the use of digital visual elements, sound, or other sensory stimuli delivered via technology. It says the difference between virtual reality and augmented reality. Augmented reality uses a real world setting, while virtual reality is completely virtual. Augmented reality users can control their presence in the real world. Virtual reality users are controlled by the system or whatever the software, the technology that they're within.
How does augmented reality use a natural environment?
Well, this is kind of how I see it playing out. So there's a movie out there called Ready Player One. It's a sci-fi movie. It came out in 2018, I believe. I should have looked up the people that are in the movie, but just look it up for yourself. It's called Ready Player One.
Before we get into that, could you answer my question?
I was in a long way. I was going to answer your question, but go ahead. What was the question?
Because I want to add to that Ready Player One.
Go ahead. What was the question?
So how does augmented reality use a natural environment rather than a virtual environment?
So basically, the way that I understand it is that as we're sitting here doing this podcast, there's now technology that could be creating a reality on top of this right here. So there's a possibility that
and then that would be considered virtual reality.
That would be considered augmented reality. That's when all things are no longer, nothing is private at that point. Not a fucking thing.
Okay.
That's when privacy is totally, completely thrown out of the window.
So augmented reality is when you use computer-generated programs to you could even put a back screen here
Yes.
and have it part of this reality, and that would be considered augmented reality. Is that what I'm getting?
So somebody could be playing this game of augmented reality as we're sitting here doing this podcast, and they could actually be listening in on this podcast as we are recording it. And they could like create maybe a bubble on top of our heads, and we could be characters in a game.
But I feel like that's more virtual reality. My question is, how is augmented reality using the physical reality? And you said virtual reality just uses computer generated programs. That is my question. So basically, augmented reality, what I'm picking up and what I'm understanding, it's an addition to the current reality, whereas virtual reality, you're in the generated. Yes. Okay, so augmented reality, it would be an addition to the current reality.
Yes.
With computer programs. But with a virtual reality, there's no natural world in existence. It's all virtual.
Yes.
With humans in a virtual environment.
Exactly.
All right.
Yep.
So now I understand that. Now continue with your Ready Player One, where you were going with that.
I don't remember exactly where I was going with that, but the Ready Player One. So in this movie, and I don't want to spoil the movie. I just recommend going and watching it for yourself, because there's a lot. I feel a lot of the things that we are talking about today in this podcast. If you watch this movie, I think it will give you a better understanding of the metaverse and what they're trying to create.
I would like to dive into the movie a little bit and spoil it a little bit. And in this movie, you have these big corporations that, this, is it like placed in 2045 or something like that?
Exactly, 2045.
So the movie is placed in the setting of 2045, and so already it's being predictive programming to create that world by 2045. Because of the fact that they just put that date on there, they're already predictively programming whoever watches that movie to create that. So in this movie, there's these big corporations, and the outside world is disastrous. There's very little trees.
Post-apocalyptic.
It's run down. People are living in trailers. It's not a nice environment to be in, and therefore, these big tech companies create these virtual worlds where people, the money that they spend is all on gadgets and technology, and they wear these headsets and they go into this world because they would rather be in that world than the current reality they're experiencing, which is not a great reality to live in per se. And they go into these virtual worlds. Well, these big tech companies, you begin to create karma in this virtual world. And now like your soul kind of becomes like attached to this virtual world. And it almost begins to feel more real than the real world. And people like just walk around with their glasses on. They're eating with their glasses on. They're doing everything in this virtual world. And soon, now the big tech companies begin just using the people for energy, and they have them in little round cube pods walking on treadmills, generating energy for the augmented system, the virtual big, the big AI system that everyone is connected to in this virtual reality simulated universe, Metaverse per se. And now the big tech companies are just using the people for their energy, and they're in this virtual world, and now they're basically like slaves to the system, to the point where they're in these pods with like hands that they cannot even move their own hands. Their hands are strapped. The only thing they can really do is walk. They've got a harness on, and now the helmet is strapped to their head. They can no longer even take the virtual helmet off to experience the real world because now they're slaves to the system, and the system has fixed these virtual reality headsets to their head, and now they're in this world, and it is a world that the big tech companies created.
As an escape from the outside
Correct.
dismal, not so good reality.
Correct. So that is an overview of Ready Player One, the movie. And like Dennis was saying, I highly recommend you watch it just because it can give you a premonition. It can give you paranoia of the potential future that these big tech companies want to create. So, I have an article here that I want to go over by Recode, and all of our articles that we used for the information for this video are going to be in the description box below this video. So if you want to look up any of this information, you can find the articles below. Also, remember that this and all information in any videos that you hear and watch, to use your own discernment when absorbing information, when finding new information, and when you discover something new and it resonates, do your own research and research multiple websites and research less than mainstream websites, and make sure that you do your own research, because that is the most valuable research to you. So, Facebook is quietly buying up the metaverse. So, a lot of critics and regulators want to make Facebook smaller by forcing Mark Zuckerberg to unwind major acquisitions like Instagram and WhatsApp. Zuckerberg's response is, let's get bigger by buying more stuff. So, Facebook has been steadily making large acquisitions, at least 21 in the last 3 years. Many of the deals have been announced since December 2020, when the US government first filed an antitrust lawsuit against the company, accusing it of maintaining an illegal monopoly in social networking by buying or crushing competitors. The original suit and revised complaint are aimed at forcing Facebook to divest itself of Instagram and WhatsApp. So, and then it goes on, continues to say, in the past couple years, Facebook's appetite for deals has run to Giphy, which lets you place funny GIFs in your social media posts, to Customer, spelled with a K, a business software company for Facebook's corporate clients. Most of them, though, have been concentrated in one area, and that is gaming and virtual reality is what Zuckerberg's main focus has been on. And this is bundled up in the expansive and hard to refine rubrics of the Metaverse, which is the future of Facebook. Hence the company's name changed to Meta.
I got a question. So, if all this virtual reality and the metaverse and all that, do you think there's a coincidence that that is coming to fruition in the year 2021? Like, as of now, is there, do you feel like there's a reason that they're pushing so hard for it at this time?
There are no accidents or coincidences in this universe. So everything happens for a reason. Everything happens with divine timing. So absolutely it's happening for a specific reason. And I feel like the reason is because there was a shift cosmically Jupiter conjuncted with Saturn, and it created a great reset in the cosmos above Earth. And when a big change happens cosmically, changes happen within us and changes happen on the planet. And a great reset happened in the cosmos, a great reset is happening on Earth, a great reset is happening within each individual. And I feel like that is the exact reason for what's happening, is the reason that it is happening. It's divine timing. It's the way this is happening because it was meant to happen.
So in our past videos, we've talked about the split that's happening.
Yes.
Is the metaverse a part of that split? Of the split of the people that get the shot, the people that don't get the shot, the people that say go out in nature and are connected with themselves, and then there's the virtual reality, the metaverse, where they don't like the environment they're in, and then that's where I would decide to go into the virtual reality. Like, is that because of all the current events in the world happening today? Is that a coincidence that as we speak right now, that they are promoting virtual reality, the metaverse, and all these things as we speak?
There are no coincidences or accidents in this universe. So it is happening for a divine purpose. Does that answer your question? Were you more so asking, like, rephrase that again?
So is there a coincidence that
There's no coincidences. So we know there's no coincidence.
But why is Zuckerberg in the year 2021, where everybody's supposedly the COVID cases are rising again, and countries are going into their lockdowns or whatever, is there a reason that they're pushing the virtual reality and the metaverse and all this stuff at this time?
Yes, it ties directly in with COVID-19. And the reason being is they want people stuck in their homes and not able to get outside of their
Thank you.
homes.
That's what I was getting at.
And then when you're not able to get outside of your homes and go out into nature, they're like, well, we got a solution here we have virtual reality glasses, and you get to wear these, and
it's even better than your current reality.
Right. But guess what? You got to pay for them. And then like in 2.5 years, they're going to come out with an upgraded version, and then you get to pay for those. But you know what? Now you're in the system. Now you've already created karma in the system. Therefore, it's a lot harder to get out of it. So the solution is to not even go in the system in the first place.
And go for a walk in the woods.
See a squirrel.
Chase a rabbit.
Oh, shoot. So the day after Facebook announced the name change, the company illustrated how it will spend some of that money. A deal to buy within. They bought a company co-founded by VR pioneer Chris Milk, best known for his supernatural workout app. People familiar with the transaction say Facebook paid more than $500 million for the company. Other metaverse-wide deals announced this year include Unit 2 Games, which makes a collaborative game creation platform called Creta. They also purchased Big Box VR, which makes a popular game for the Facebook Oculus VR goggles, and also Downpour Interactive, another VR game maker. Those deals are already raising eyebrows before Facebook announced that they represented the future of the company. So I'm going to go into some of the deals that it made in the past. Instagram, $1 billion in 2012. WhatsApp, $19 billion in 2014. So what it's going on to say is that as they invest in the metaverse, that they know they're going to face competition, but they also know that they're not going to create the metaverse by themselves. And so he's saying that investing and building products that customers want is the key to success. We cannot build the metaverse alone. Collaboration with developers, creators, and experts will be crucial. And it's saying that they're going to face fierce competition from companies like Microsoft, Google, Apple, Snap, Sony, Roblox, Epic, and many others at every step of this journey. Translation: in the near term, Facebook is happy that Snap keeps trying to sell sunglasses that take videos and communicate with your phone, because they are theoretical competitors to Facebook's sunglasses that take video and communicate with your phone. And Facebook will also be happy next year when Apple is reportedly going to unveil its virtual reality headset, because it will compete with Facebook's Oculus headsets. So Snap has these sunglasses that they take video and they communicate with your phone, and Facebook is doing a similar thing. So they have this super technology, like this is super technology right here, and they have 10 times this. Like the technology that these big tech companies have, that the military industrial complex has, they have bioweapons, they have biotechnologies, they have technologies like that we collectively are now only beginning to like even take a look at, and they're so far advanced. When we don't understand something, we call it magic, and that is exactly the amount of advancement and technology that these companies have. It is literally magic.
And it's like we're under a giant spell.
Because currently we do not yet understand how these things work. We're getting there slowly, and it's speeding up.
We're getting worse
every
slowly.
day. The knowledge about these technologies, the knowledge about the industrial military complex, the knowledge about these big tech companies, that knowledge is getting everywhere.
Everything is being revealed.
It is being revealed, but it's being revealed slowly, initially, and it's like a snowball. And as it rolls and gains momentum, as this truth begins to come out, it's going to gain more momentum, it's going to speed up, more truth is going to be revealed, and it's going to come out faster than it ever has before. So with this metaverse thing and what Mark Zuckerberg is doing, he posted a video promoting his metaverse, like doing a sales pitch for it, essentially. Sure. And Iceland responded with their own video. And I want to get into this. It's super fascinating. So here's the title of an article from the New York Post. And the title of the article is "Iceland Mocks Mark Zuckerberg's Metaverse Ambitions in New Tourism Ad." So a new marketing campaign for Icelandic tourism took aim at Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg, mocking his recent video announcement of his company's name change to Meta. This video, it was released by a company named Inspired by Iceland. That's the name of the company that presented this video. And this is a public-private entity that promotes Iceland and its products. And they featured a Zuckerberg lookalike by the name of Zach Mossbergerson and identified as Iceland's chief visionary officer. This Zach character did in their video. Throughout the parody, excuse me if I'm saying your name wrong, Zach Mossenbergerson, and I'll do my best. And so throughout this parody, Mossenbergerson pokes fun at Zuckerberg's infamous stiffness. Mossenberger says hello and welcome to this very natural setting. He continues saying, today I want to talk about a revolutionary approach to connect our world without being super weird. Some said it's not possible, some said it's out of reach. To them, we say it's already here. Seriously, look, it's right here, he adds, while gesturing out the window to a snow-capped Icelandic landscape. Mossenberger goes on to introduce the Icelandverse, which is, as he describes it, enhanced actual reality without silly-looking headsets. So he continues saying it's completely immersive with water that's wet. Mossenberger goes on, adding that the Icelandverse comes complete with skies that you can see with your eyeballs. The Icelandverse is unlike any other open world experience with verse in name because it's real. Plus, you don't need funny looking VR headsets, the caption to the video on YouTube reads. This video that was put out by this company called Inspired by Iceland has racked up more than 274,000 views on YouTube by late Friday.
Wow.
Metaverse has become a major talking point in corporate America since Facebook announced its rebrand last month. Yada yada yada. But essentially, Iceland came out with a video, and they made their own video and said, "Hey, we have the Icelandverse, and they're promoting tourism and saying, come to Iceland and be a part of the Icelandverse for tourism."
Nice.
Do you want to add anything to that, or?
I mean, I think that's a solution to Metaverse right there.
It is one of these
It
solutions.
is one of them, yes.
For countries to open up and just say, hey, we're open, tourists, like we're open for tourists, let's tourists come in. And now tourists are spending money in the country, bringing more money to them. And it's beneficial to the tourists and to the country as a whole.
What are other solutions that you can think of to the Metaverse?
Other solutions is to focus all of your attention away from it and focus your conscious attention on what you want to create and just focus on that and put all your energy and time and effort into creating what you want to create. And now you create together collectively, we create a new system that makes their system obsolete. And now people are going like, dang, they're in the metaverse and like, we want to be part of that system. Those people are having so much fun over there. They're feeling, they're in their emotions, like they're real human beings rather than being virtual counterparts in a virtual space. Like this other reality that's being created is real, and you can see it with your eyes, you can touch the grass, you can feel the rocks. It's a real world.
So do you think this technology is dangerous to Metaverse?
What technology?
The Metaverse, like what Facebook, like his vision, is his vision dangerous to humanity?
In what way?
in a dehumanizing way, and us losing connection of ourselves.
It can be, if you put your attention to it.
Sure.
I feel like it's not even important to even bring up that question, because the solution is to focus your attention elsewhere. So we're not even going to focus on that reality. We're going to be so focused on creating the new reality, it's going to make the old reality obsolete.
Right.
So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Your time is highly, highly appreciated. Your attention is highly, highly appreciated. Stay multidimensional, stay blessed, continue experiencing.
Peace.